First off, I'd like to say welcome to my new channel. I will be posting videos about problems with everything, on any topic or any person that you guys want me to. So, let's get into the video. So the first thing wrong with Bernie Sanders is his age. The dude is 75 years old. Do you really want someone that old running your country? I mean, like, he could just die. He could drop over dead in office, and then what would happen? Then we get the vice president, and who knows who that would be at this point in time, but, like, normally the vice president isn't qualified to be president, or at least in most cases. I mean, they do okay, but if you look at history, the vice presidents are never as good as the original president. Now that doesn't mean that this one couldn't be, but I mean, if history repeats itself, that's what's going to happen if Bernie Sanders would drop over dead. The second thing, and probably one of the most important things about him being bad, is his followers, the people that vote for him. I mean, I'm not saying everyone is bad, but a lot of people that vote for him don't know a thing about politics. Maybe the older people do, but a lot of the younger people don't really know what they're talking about. All they want is one of his stances. Like, the only thing that they favor about him is one specific stance, which I guess is okay, but if there's millions, or even billion, not a billion probably, but let's say 100 million people that do like a certain thing about him, then we'd be screwed. Obviously, not 100 million since it's only the U.S., but you know what I mean. If everyone liked just one thing about him and they voted on him just for that, and everything else was bad about him, we'd be screwed. What would America do? The next thing would probably be that he's not really considered a leader. I mean, yeah, he was a senator, but have any of you heard of him before that? Or before now? Before the election started, before he said that he was going to run for president? Heck, even before 4 months ago, no one really knew who he was. It's only at this point that it's all narrowed down, so everyone knows who he is. And the only people that actually know him close, or, know him really well, like his close friends and just people he's worked with, they vote for Hillary for the most part. They like Hillary for the most part. They haven't voted yet, obviously, unless they voted for her in the primary. But they follow Hillary and kind of seem to just not include him in their talks about the good things about the Democratic Party right now. Another thing is that he's a socialist. He's basically a pure socialist. While some parts of socialism can be good, other parts are they're too over the top, and they're just not really what our founding fathers had when they thought about the government, about the U.S. It wasn't that government's going to give you everything for free, or government's just going to run it all one step away from being communism. It's that people are going to work for what they get, and sure, they're going to get some government help, but the government's not just going to hand out everything to you. Another thing with his supporters is that they truly believe that we're going to get free college, and I'd love to get free college. I think everyone would love to get free college, but the thing is, how many presidents have promised free college, and we haven't had it yet, so maybe in 300 years we'll get free college, because by then our country will be quite a bit different than it is now, but as of now, we're not going to get free college. The majority of the country isn't, I wouldn't say is going to vote for that. Even if they do, people are going to be pissed off at their taxes. Like, think of how many children there are. Sure, you could tax the upper class, but we know that doesn't really happen, so think of how many children how many students would be going into college, and the millions of students for the, like, tens of thousands of dollars that college costs would just be over the top with taxes. Another thing is, everyone that really supports him they're young. Like, if you look at it, the the polling, the ages that voted for him in the primary are majority of the younger people, and like surveys and other things, methods like that, the younger people follow him more, and they seem to sway his way rather than Hillary, or even on the Republican side with Donald Trump. They prefer going to Bernie because of the free college, because of the equal rights for everybody, which we would love equal rights in America, but obviously there's still racist people, there's still sexist people out there, and I know we don't want them to ruin it for everybody, but at the same time, there's so many of them out there that it just doesn't, it's not really going to work, and not everyone wants to be equal. I mean, personally, I think there should be an upper class. Like, they worked for their money, they provide a huge part of our economy, they're the ones that spend all the money, they're the ones that provide all the jobs for everybody. If there were no upper class, how the hell would we have jobs? Has Bernie Sanders not even thought about any of this stuff? Another thing is Bernie Sanders offering all this free stuff, like, here, I'll give you free college. I'll also give you free government money that you can live on. You'll make a living wage without even working. He has that imitation, like when people imitate Donald Trump, they really, to me, sound like Bernie Sanders. Now, obviously some people out there can imitate Donald Trump, but the Brooklyn or New York like emphasis or emphasized accent that they try to do for Donald Trump really ends up sounding like Bernie Sanders, because Sanders truly does have that Brooklyn accent. And another thing you might not know about this guy is that he really didn't have a full-time or stable income until he was about 40 years old. Now, what that shows is that he didn't even know how to keep a job, and he didn't know, like, maybe even laziness could be a factor for that. He just worked odd jobs and just did things on the side to support himself, but he didn't really have a stable job until he was about 40, which, I mean, think if everyone in America didn't have a job until they were 40, then what the hell would our country be? There wouldn't be, like, there wouldn't even be store workers, because that's even a freaking stable job. But Bernie Sanders just worked odd jobs and just did whatever he could to get by. He didn't even work even a job like a McDonald's, like a fast food job, which, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I'm just saying, if you work a fast food job, obviously you're not going to get paid as much as the other people, but at least you're working, at least you're providing for yourself, and which is great. That's about it for Bernie Sanders, and just tell me what you guys want me to make a video on next. It can be any topic on YouTube or another candidate. Like, I could do an everything wrong with Donald Trump, or here's the problem with Donald Trump, I guess it would be, or I could do Hillary, or any other person in the media that you want me to, or that's getting a lot of news attention right now, or any celebrities. Whatever you want me to do, I can do. Thanks for watching this, guys, and remember just to comment who you want me to do a video on next. See you guys in the next one.